Does that look good?
Does it? Or is that
Yeah, very good.
That's good. That's
Much better.
There you go.
That's much better.
got it. No, well, thanks, Jake. Thank you.
You know,
Enjoy
it's
your
live.
dinner.
You know, it's live. It's all happening right now. It's like,
That's it.
yeah, it's like going to the races and you hear the bloody announcers calling the horses and someone's coming into the office.
Yeah, that's it.
So without further ado, we've got a special tonight, folks. So hence the reason we're doing this simulcast. It's on Radio FM 88 Australia, YouTube and Facebook, and X's Radio FM 8 Aussie. Later on, you can go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple and Amazon. Now, our guest, and there's a special one-off. Andrena's here from the UK. And our guest, David's been on the show 3 times. And he's coming forth to explain to us something that is, I thought the 3rd show was right out there and you just couldn't believe it. It's awesome. But he's now stepping up to talk about his new teacher called Harold. So without further ado, Andrena, would you like to take it away, mate?
Right. Good morning, everybody. Good day and welcome wherever you are in the world. And like Jeffrey said, it's our pleasure to have the lovely David back. Apparently the 4th time. I thought it was the 3rd. Flipping out. Time moves on, eh? Anyway, it's lovely to see you, David. And lots of questions. And I know that some people have already messaged me about different things. So I should bring them in the conversation, or if anybody wants to ask any question. So for those of you that don't know David, he's got a huge following on the Gold Coast and all around Sydney and here, there and everywhere. Well known for his psychic flower readings. He's been a coach, philosopher, public speaker, and he's an entertainer. There's no doubt about that. I reckon that's your best way of describing you as an entertainer. So without further ado, you've had a new lesson, if you like to look into and follow, a new master teacher, which is apparently Harold. So I don't know if you want to give a quick little brief synopsis about yourself, just brief, because I know the health that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about the C word, because I think I said to you before, over here on UK television, the adverts that you see come up now are saying 1 in 2 will get the C word. It's all fear mongering, we know all that, but anyway, apart from that, we're going to come in from a different angle. So welcome, David. And do you want to do a little brief about yourself if you can?
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Andrena, and thank you, Jeff, and thank you both for having me on your lovely show tonight. It's my privilege and honour to be your guest here today, all the way from beautiful sunny Sydney in Australia. Just as a little bit of a snapshot about who I am and what I do, I have had the enormous privilege of calling Jeff and Andrena, 2 of my very dear friends, for quite some years now. And a little bit of a background synopsis on what I do and what David Laws is all about. For the last almost 20 years, have been a professional psychic, and that's been my main source of living. So in essence, guys, I've not worked in nearly 20 years because my work is not work. I don't consider it to be work. It's a privilege to work with spirit. What are we going to say?
No, I forgot to say, I'm on a farm. And some of the sheep are being kept up this end of the farm at the moment, and then they're at the gate protesting. So if you hear noises, it's nothing to do with me. It's the sheep outside the door.
Oh, that's your story.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's funny. I love it. See, that's the great thing. That's the great thing about podcasting, when it's real. It's real. I just love it when you've got all the little bibbles and bobbles happening in the background. Yeah, so that's been my thing for the last 20 years. Now, around about, I forget how long, maybe the last 30 years, I've been very interested in alternative medicine, understanding the true meaning of mind, body and spirit, or mind, body and soul, because it's all interconnected, it's all interlinked. And too many people think that when they get sick, their body is just, getting sick for no reason, and the body, there's a disease of some sort that's hating them and causing all these issues. But if people just only begin to understand that our body is merely just a messenger for what is going on in our life. So anyway, but we'll get into that through the course of our talk. So about 30 years ago, I embarked on studying a little bit about alternative medicine, learning a lot about the basics of alternative medicine, how it can work energetically with the body, and understanding that we're all energetic beings, and that we're all these little blobs of beautiful love and light and energy on two legs, and everything in our life, our body or our physical surroundings, everything vibrates at an energetic level. So that's pretty much it. So as far as my work is concerned, I'm actually I'm a psychic, as I said, but I actually read flowers, and some of you might find that a little strange. I won't waste too much time on that, but it's based on that beautiful ancient psychic art of psychometry. And psychometry, some people pick up a piece of jewelry or an inanimate object, and they can read the energy of that and elicit some messages and guidances from it. That's exactly what I do, except I utilize flowers or leaves, piece of bush, anything from nature. I connect with the nature energy spirits, and they convert into messages, and I channel those. And would you believe this year is my 40th year when I started on the journey of discovering my spiritual side? And yeah, so it's 1986 is when I kicked off, and I think I was 25 years old at the time. So I've given my age away now. I don't look
Oh,
a
no.
day over 64 and a half, do I? Anyway, so, but it's been a 40-year journey, but virtually 20 years as a professional. Yeah.
Wow, in a nutshell, that was very good. I'm impressed.
Thank you. See, it is for me, isn't it? I should have
Yeah,
said,
I
put the
know.
kettle
I
on.
was thinking, oh, how long have we got?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Let's start with your latest journey that we're going to talk about.
Sure.
So, how did it come about, and what were you experiencing first? So, for people that don't know,
Yep.
You've had esophagus
Absolutely.
cancer. So, did you start getting like funny symptoms in your tummy, or
No, basically what it was,
yeah.
Andrena, it started around about late August, early September, and it just started ever so subtly because I was eating a meal one day and I swallowed some food, and it seemed to take a little while to get down, but it got down okay, and I didn't think that much of it. And a few days later, I was eating maybe a piece of steak or something, similar thing, seemed to take a little while to get down, didn't think a lot of it. But over the ensuing weeks, I noticed a couple of times, I thought that my food's not going down, and I just didn't know why. I'd never experienced anything like it. So I went to the doctor and explained, what was going on. So she put me through a series of tests, and she sent me for a CT scan, a blood test, a blood analysis, all came back negative, nothing at all. And thank God I insisted. I said, well, honey, there is definitely something amiss because I'm not swallowing my food correctly. So I will insist on another test of some sort. She said, well, I can send you for an endoscopy, which is where they put a camera down your throat.
Oh, yeah.
They put you under a light anesthetic, and they take you into hospital, and they do that. So they did that, and that's when they discovered that there was a mass at the base of my esophagus, and there's a they thought it was cancerous. But they took the biopsy, of course. I didn't even know about the biopsy being done. They do these things without telling you, because I'm not a big fan of biopsies being done. But anyway, that was done, and came back as what they call an adenocarcinoma. And there's that's the more common of the two different carcinomas that you can get in the esophagus. Mine is the more common one, but unfortunately, it is also the most dangerous one of the two. Anyway, so that was I was officially diagnosed on the 24th of November when I went into the La Trobe Hospital, and they said, you've got adenocarcinoma. So that's when my beautiful sister, Lynette, my sister's been a fully trained, highly qualified nurse for 40 years. She immediately insisted that I leave Tasmania for my medical treatment and go to Sydney, only from the point of view is that the tests were taking 2 to 3 weeks to come back, the results.
Really?
She said, it's just not good. Yep. She said, that's just not good enough. And unfortunately, because I live in a regional part of Australia, it's considered country/regional, you can wait 2 to 3 weeks, whereas in Sydney, you can get your results overnight. When you have a scan done one day, you get it the next, so it expedites the whole process. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's amazing how different places, different areas take weeks and others can do it immediately.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I had, they wanted to perform a what they call a staging operation to see what stage I was at, where they make an incision in your stomach. And by that stage, this was coming back into January. Um, I was losing an enormous amount of weight because I couldn't eat, and my sister said it's time, you've got to act on this pretty quickly. In the very early days, in fact, from the day that I was diagnosed, I started utilizing a series of alternative healthcare products because that's how I work.
Yeah.
I'm not really into chemicals and drugs and those sorts of things unless it is an absolute last port of call situation. But so no, I was much preferred to go down the alternative medicine route, and I'm still utilising those products today. So I had to have the staging operation done. That was performed on the 11th of February because there was still a few weeks wait to get into the surgery to get that done. That was done in Tasmania. And I also had a PEG tube, PEG, a PEG tube installed into my stomach. So that tube goes into a little plug at the on the outside of my stomach, and that goes into the duodenum. And I can only take liquid food now. I can't take solid food. I can't take liquid form in swallowing because I'm now, my esophagus is virtually occluded with the tumor. So I now have to feed myself intravenously, not intravenously, it's not into the blood, but drip fed, I guess that's a better terminology. I'm being drip fed. So I've got a drip set up beside my bed, and that feeds me for 12 hours for the night. And I get my sustenance from that, and that's food that the hospital supplies for me, along with the water flush bag, like a saline bag. So, yeah.
Oh,
Still got me?
Yeah, no, obviously the sheep's got her. The sheep's coming. Anyway, hey, that's I just come back to this.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here, mate. You there? Hello. I can hear you, Dave. You all right?
You got me?
Can't hear I got you. Yeah, I can hear you, mate. Yeah.
Can you see me? Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah. Andrena's just gone off, so
no,
you can't hear me.
Hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I think it's dropped.
I can hear you.
I can see them, but I can't hear them.
Hello. I can hear you.
Oh, so what happened there?
I don't know.
This is bizarre.
I haven't touched anything.
No, I think it's my end because I've been doing lots of Zooms. I've been working with the 9D breath work, and so we're on Zoom. My Wi-Fi and data has been perfect. It's never gone off. So I've just checked my phone, and my mobile hotspot has gone off. Now it's gone off on its own. So anyway, here I am again.
Good. That's good.
Good technology. So sorry, David. I don't know what was the last bit.
No.
Now that completely threw me. I thought.
No, I'm mindful of waffling on, so I like to stop and break and give you a chance to speak or ask.
Well, you did. Question. You give me a chance to come on and off again.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So you were saying that you do alternatives. So, like, I know a lot of people are linking the Ovid jab to lots of things, and I know that's not your pathway, not mine, but people do have choices and some don't have choices. So like you've done the alternative. So can we go back? So did you have any guidance or any awareness that there was something big coming up for you that you didn't really understand what it might be, or any inkling at all?
Not prior to this, Andrena. No. It's funny thing is my guidance is pretty good, but I'll tell you what, I do have to apologize, guys. From time to time my voice gets a bit stuck because of this situation I'm in, and I have a little bit of spit comes up, so I have to discard that out of my mouth. So I do apologize for that.
Don't apologize. We're very honored for you to share your story.
Thank you. Anyway, I did get an inkling, I think, like not message wise, but about a month before this situation came up and before I had issues with swallowing, I instinctively went into a series of fasts. I was doing some fasting, and I started off with a 24-hour fast, and then I did that really well. Then I went into a 3-day fast, and then I ended up doing a 5-day fast. And it was about maybe a month after that this situation arose. So I think instinctively I was tuning in to the fact that my body needed to start
Yeah.
detoxing and clearing and cleansing. So yeah,
So you give it a good start then, really.
gave it a good start. Correct.
Yeah, totally. So what sort of things did you take the holistic, because I can imagine, like, I mean, I've got different friends suffering with different things, and you put it out on Facebook or social media, and then you get inundated with people saying, take this, do that, do
I
this, do
know.
that. And I bet, because you've got such a following, I bet you had messages coming in left, right, and center.
Hundreds, which was lovely. It was very lovely, but you've got to filter, otherwise you'll go nuts. It was lovely. I was swamped by so much information from so many beautiful people from all around the world. And as you said, honey, I'm very, very fortunate to have a large following and a large loyal following. And I've got some very, very beautiful people in my life. And they all came from the right perspective. And let me tell you, like, the information that they gave was just phenomenal, which was wonderful. But I must say that from the outset, from day one, when I got the official diagnosis that it was the big C, I contacted my very dear friend Ross Harty up in Queensland. Ross is a clinical nutritionist. He's not a naturopath. He's not a herbalist. He's a clinical nutritionist, and he's been in that position for just over 40 years now. And he lives up in Cairns in Queensland. Like I said, we've lectured together on cruise ships. We talk about the mind, body, soul. We do workshops together. He talks about the body. I talk about the mind, spirit, and the soul journey stuff. So it was just natural that I contacted him to, tell him of my news. And he didn't stress. He said, "Oh, mate," he said, "we can handle that." He said, "We'll put you onto a series of products to start balancing your body and getting things in order and see if we can knock this on the head." So that's been 4 months now. But for nearly 5 months that I've been on that product, or those products for. And then I've been adding things to it as well. There's a regime that I go through, and having something like this, particularly when you're treating yourself with alternative medicine, it's quite daunting, because there's quite a range of products that you can take. And I mean, there's really no end to it all. I jokingly say to people, you should see my bedroom. It looks like Chemist Warehouse, because there's so much. So if you run out of something, honey, give me a call. I've got 4 of them in stock, whatever you want. I've just got 4 of them. So it's just like Tim. But I look at it, but you know what? It just makes me feel good. I think, oh my God, this is all the good stuff that's going into me. So that's what I've been on since day one.
Right. So, I believe you've got some sort of tube in your tummy.
Correct.
Is it? Yeah, because I don't know anything about this. So if you'd like to enlighten me and our guests, our listeners.
Yep. I have a peg tube installed, and let me tell you, up until this occurred with me, I'd never even heard of a peg tube. I didn't know such things existed.
What are you saying, peg?
Peg, P-E-G.
Yeah, peg tube. Okay.
Peg tube.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
And I must tell our audience as well. I'm 65 years of age, and up until this, I have never had a sick day in my life. I've been so fortunate. I've had a very, very, very healthy life. I've never had a doctor. I've never needed to go to a hospital, never needed to go to a doctor or get treatment of any kind. So I've been very, very blessed. So this has come up as a bit of a surprise, but it's interesting how life throws you these, little curveballs and these interesting scenarios that pop up. And as I've been teaching people for many years, down the spiritual path and way, it's not what happens to you that matters the most. It's how you come through this, how you look at the issue, how you deal with what's been given to you, because that has a huge bearing, I believe, on your outcome. And when it comes to health and healing, I believe the first port of call that healing starts is in the mind. forget the body. It comes second, third down the line, but it starts in the mind. What do you believe? If you believe you're going to beat something, you will, pretty much. And if you believe that it's going to be a struggle, it'll be a struggle. If you believe you're going to lose the battle, or it's going to be a battle, it'll be a battle. One thing I'll say in this journey that I have encountered now, I do not use the words fight or battle. I'm not fighting the big C. I'm not
No.
battling the big C. You know, and like you jokingly referred to at the beginning, Andrena, I don't even use the word cancer. I've just christened it
No.
Harold. So I just say Harold is like a boarder who's moved into my house, and he's not really wanted. He's not welcomed. I don't really like him being here, but I've been told that I have to take him in as a boarder for a period of time and learn what I can from him. So there's two ways I can look at Harold being around me. I can fight with him, argue with him, debate him, feel terrible about him, hate him, tell him to POQ and use all the expletives under the sun to get rid of him, and then worry myself sick about him. And you hear that terminology, worry yourself sick.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how we use terms like, God, I'm worried sick about this? Well, you've just put out an affirmation, you're worried sick.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about this. It's just that, oh, this is an opportunity for me to get my mindset into a different place now. And maybe, just maybe, this situation has arisen in my life, as most situations do. There's another opportunity here. I often say to people, I've got to change the sail of my ship to catch a new wind. My life's got to take a little bit of a new direction now, but the other direction wasn't working as well for me. And there's something on this new path and direction that's going to be very, very worthwhile for me and hopefully for other people as well. But I'm certainly not fighting anything. I'm at peace, totally at peace with my situation. I've been diagnosed as stage 2, but we'll get into the other part of that further down the track. And that's where I'm sitting at the moment. So I'm just firstly balancing my mind and filling my stuff with, filling my body with all the good things.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Like, people think it's happening for you, not to you.
Correct.
And it is a master teacher. You know, whatever we got. I mean, I've got a book here called The Secret Language of Your Body by Anna Siegel. And, you know, when I've got something on or something's happening, like at the weekend, for about a week, I've had an awful neck ache and what have you. So, you know, I've looked up who's a pain in the neck, blah, 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 and all the emotional things that you do, and worked through clearing lots of things. You know, could it be this? Could it be that? Whatever. You know, it's looking at, like you say, your spiritual, your mental, your emotional, it's looking at all different things that are going on. And like, for me, I'm further down the track than you age-wise, but I don't act my age. I act my shoe size, which is size 5.
Good.
Which is more
I
important
love
than
that. It is. It is.
you know,
Exactly.
It's all about turning things around. Like, you know, I said, well, I've deleted the aging process. I'm not playing that game. I'm going the other way. So, you know, it's the power of your mind, the power of your thoughts. And like, you know, I do watch television now and again. There's different things I like to watch. And, you know, like I say, the C word, it's just putting the fear of God into everybody. Because like it used to be, they used to say 1 in 4. Now they say 1 in 2. Yeah. And I think, flipping hell. I mean, how long is it before they say, well, everyone will have blah, blah, blah. So, you know, that word for me is one of the biggest fear words for people. You know, they're on the television. There's another program like I switched on, and one of the ladies had breast cancer, had some treatments and all that. But instead of looking, what alternative can you do? You don't need to go down that road. There's nobody doing the alternative. Okay, well, what's going on your life? What do you think's caused this? What is your diet like? You know, you've got to look at.
So, do you know, Andrena, you have hit the nail on the head in so many ways. I'll let our audience know that, interestingly, and this is not having a slight you know, against the medical profession. But of all the doctors, oncologists, professors, radiologists that I've been dealing with since November, do you know that I've been in 4 different hospitals? Not one person has asked me a single question about me. Nothing.
No.
No one has asked me about what's my diet like. No one's asked me what my lifestyle's like. No one's asked me anything. I walk into an office. Oh, hello, David. Now sit there. Take a seat. Let me just call up your results. Click, 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 click on the laptop, and then all my results come up. And then all they talk about is treatment plans, and that's it.
You're
Now,
a wonderful customer.
oh, absolutely. Now, again, it's true, but I'm not having a slight at those people either, because they're not trained in that. But I
No,
will tell you something
exactly.
interesting. I did ask one of them, I knew the answer, but I didn't. I thought I just want to test the water. And I asked one of the doctors that I was speaking to, one of the cancer therapists. I said, what are your thoughts on alkalining the body, just out of interest, the importance of alkalining the body once you've been diagnosed with cancer? He looked at me like I had two heads and come from Tasmania. Anyway, he just looked at me and he said, do you know what? He said, you'd be better off to talk to the nutritionist about that. I couldn't believe it. I
Wow.
just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
And that's such
He
a
had
simple
no interest.
test.
Just a simple little thing. I mean, I take a supplement. I take a very powerful supplement, one of the many that I take, but I do take an alkalining agent. It's a human grade bicarb soda.
Yeah, I take that. I have a little drop.
It's superior
most
soda.
days.
It's fantastic. Yep.
Mm.
Yep. So I mean, I'm on all that. So, but these people aren't trained in any of this. They just, all they throw at you is radiation, chemo, and immunotherapy in the hospitals. So that's all they know.
Mm. And I've got a lovely friend called Melissa who's been diagnosed with stage 4, and she's got it in her spine and her brain, and she'd lost the sight of her eye, so she's been wearing an eye patch, and she has really bad days and good days. But anyway, we went to see her in Poole Hospital. Well, I mean, I didn't think she was going to come out of there. I mean, the service was like 2-star, and yeah, the care just didn't seem to be there anymore. And they kept saying, we give you 2 to 3 weeks left. And so next thing, she's moved to the hospice. So, and I said to her, I worked in on the Gold Coast in Paradise Kids as a volunteer. And I said, don't take that on board. You're in the departure lounge, but you're in the wrong wrong one. So, and I said, people do come out of a hospice, but they kept saying to her, you've got 2 to 3 weeks to live. Nobody ever said to her, look, you've come to the hospice. We'll do what we can to help you, to see if we can get you out of here. Anyway, I think there were so many of us in our little network that were healers and what have you, would go in to see her. And I think that just light was too bright in there. You know, a couple of friends went in singing with a guitar, and we've taken her in all sorts of natural products. So it was an education for the staff in the hospice, that was for sure. And anyway, they've sent her home.
Wow.
And so they've given her a bed and what have you. So at the moment, she can't use her Zimmer frame. She's got to go out in a wheelchair, but she's still going. And the thing is, when she was in the hospice, they kept saying to her, well, you've only got 2 to 3 weeks to live. And they wanted to give her end-of-life drugs all the time. So she had to sign paperwork to say she was not taking any end-of-life stuff. There wasn't any save your life stuff, you know, real education. And that's just one place.
It's an eye-opener. It's definitely an eye-opener.
And I have one other friend who's sadly passed on, and she was in one of the cancer charity people that got places all around, and she was in a white room. There was no pictures in there. There was no color. It was horrendous. And she was at the end, and I was thinking,
that's terrible.
We wanted to have serenity centers where, when we were doing our death work, where people could come into a holistic environment. Excuse me. You would have lovely smells of natural oils going through. You'd have lovely music or bird song, and you know, having something like that in the background when people are at the end. You know.
But anyway. Absolutely. I can't agree more. I think that's fantastic. but I don't know. There's not a lot around like that. I don't believe.
Not at the moment. There's not, but it's about
Not
bloody time. Something
well.
changed.
It's about time something changed, and particularly in the Western culture, because the Western culture fears death because they know nothing about it, and it's been drummed into us from birth that cancer is, as soon as you hear the word cancer, you immediately think of the word death.
Death.
There's
That's
so
right.
much fear mongering around the whole of dying. Dying is a beautiful experience, and dying is a beautiful entree into the next life that we go on to. But
Oh yeah,
we
can't wait.
don't prepare people for this. My late father, Dad, he died during COVID, and we brought him home to die. And he had the most magnificent passing over, unbelievably beautiful. It was wonderful. And I mean, we're getting onto another topic here, but even just, I mean, we could really talk about, preparing people coming home to die, because most people are
Exactly.
terrified
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
bringing home a loved one. Oh my God, I couldn't bear my loved one dying at home, and yet, you could be robbing them of the most wonderful,
Yeah.
enlightening, uplifting experience that my dad experienced. And one of the reasons that we brought him home was we weren't allowed to visit the damn hospital because of the COVID regulations.
Oh
And
God.
we knew that he only had days to live, so we brought him home. So my sister, being a nurse, as you heard, we had him all set up with a hospital bed, and Dad was only home for 3 days, and he passed. And my God, he had a beautiful send off, most magnificent. It's another story for another time, but
It is. Yeah.
it comes back to what you said, Andrena. We really need. That's really piqued something with me. You telling me that. I thought, what a great idea that would be to have a centre, for people to pass over in. Like
Yeah.
if
In a
they weren't able
holistic
to go home.
environment.
In a holistic environment,
Oh
as you
my
said,
God.
honey, with all the beautiful aromatherapy oils, all the natural scents, the flowers, and all everything to do with nature, and just making it so peaceful.
Well, it's been out there. My sister and I put it out there a long time ago. Well, in the year 2000, we wanted serenity centers for people before, during, and after death, with like herb gardens you could sit out in, and flowers, and
Yeah.
all in alignment with nature. So it's out there somewhere. But anyway,
that's it.
got to hand it over. Can't do it all.
That's it. That's exactly
Okay.
right.
Can I step in now?
Yes, please.
Hey, I remember years and years ago stepping out of the body and going into the other side. And I was watching when people come into the departure lounge, so to speak, well, the arrival lounge.
Yeah.
They were met by a triage nurse, doctor, whatever you want to call it. This is on the other side I'm talking about, spirit world. And the first thing they did was, Maxwell Smart, and you see them walking down the doors. And
Yep.
Yeah, so you go through the first door and you go into that room, and it's a really beautiful, like a pastel pink. And then you can actually sense the vibration, the frequency coming off that color, but also the sounds that were tuned to that particular frequency. And then as you went through, like Maxwell Smart, and then the next door opened up, and it went into an even softer color again. So the shades of color were changing along with the actual music. And then finally must have been about 5 or 6 doors, and then finally you come to a place of peace. Or then you had this sort of, okay, I've gone through that whole process. Now I'm starting to understand who I am and what I've just done as a journey, So there's something to be said for what you just said there, Andrena, as a serenity, but I was just giving you that heads up. What I said some time ago.
That's wonderful.
Now, let's come back when I made that phone call and you talked about Harold. And I immediately thought of Harold, Steptoe and Son, and
yeah, as we do.
You have to go back and there's all black and white.
That's a long time ago. A lot of our listeners may not have even heard of them, but I just remember them.
Yeah. So and there's big son, and then you had the little Alf Bromley, wasn't you? Alfred Bromley. Anyway, they're in a what was that? Rag and bone trade, wasn't it?
Yeah. Rag and bone man.
Yeah. Harold. And it just brought so much laughter when you talked about Harold, and the way you pronounced the fact that it was a new teacher. And a lot of people, who go onto this inner journey, and then they meet their guardians and the angels, and and they meet the Christ figure or the Buddha figure or Krishna as a point of reference. I mean, for me, it was my grandparents from my mother's side. Oh, okay, here you go. Oh, that's not all right. Boom, boom. And so there's a point of a reference of, hey, they're here on the physical, but now they're on the other side. And so then they introduce you to the people on the other side. So hence the reason of when we're going with that subject.
You're talking about Harold.
Oh, yeah, I got my grandfather coming around now. So, yes.
What shoe size are you?
Anyway, bloody hell, my grandfather's around. What are we talking about now? Just lost it. Harold. Oh, yeah. So the whole thing about changing the whole sequence of having a teacher. So you're having your guardian angel. Next second, you go into a classroom, and then you've got these teachers in front of you. And the way you describe that, you've got this new teacher who's come into your life, and it comes in. He's always been there unseen, but all of a sudden he's now seen in the sense, oh, you've got to start looking at your own physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, what you intake through your thoughts, through your words, through what you drink, from what you eat. Yep. And it comes to your relationships with people and around you. All that has to be taken consider of. So it's a really interesting lesson that Harold, as a teacher, steps up and stands there before the head of the class to actually express, okay, now it's time for you to put your whole body, your humanness, into a service center to get serviced, where the oil and grease change. And
that's right. Stick me up on the hoist.
Yeah.
Put the dipstick in.
Yeah, so I mean, we're so used to taking a vehicle and just getting filled up with fuel.
That's right.
We take that as for granted, but we get belligerent at times when we have to put the car in for a complete service, and whether it's a timing.
That's right. But then one day, Jeff, the warning light flashes on the dashboard.
Yeah. So they change the car.
That's right. So do you know what? Here's the thing. On that note, that's a really good thing that you spoke. Sorry, I don't mean to interject, but I just need to say, I want people to think about this. When the light flashes on the dashboard, would you take it to a service center and get it checked out of concern, or would you just cut the wire because it's just bothering you, so the light doesn't flash anymore and you keep driving the car?
Totally. And
so that's what some people do.
Yeah. And it's like, you give your car, you give it water, you give it oil, and all of these things. But how many people give oil, like when we do yoga or things like that, and sure, you might creak, and then we're doing exercise and you're crick, and say, get out the WD-40. But, it's these little things. You need to make sure you're drinking plenty of good quality water,
good quality
filtered water. I mean, the water over here, it's not called drinking water, it's called tap water. Well, tap water is not drinking water. But anyway, that's another story. And what was tap water? And then sort of having recharging your body, when you fire the car up, you being in that space of peace and quiet, ready to go on to the next journey. And meditation is a powerful tool. That, people don't take the time to sit and be still and just work on your breathing. You don't have to do complicated for an hour here and all of this. So, even if you just did 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, quiet time.
That's it.
Good old Katie. I checked my dipstick tonight in the car, of course.
Good on you, Katie.
It's looking at the little messengers and the little, and for you with Harold coming into your life as well, because you're such a public figure, people are following your journey. People are putting you on healing and prayer lists and all, as you do. But also, the way you're doing it alternative compared to conventional, people are following that and listening. So other people will take on board some of the things. So, you don't have to have a C word. You could have something else. And you think, all right, well, what could I do? It's like high blood pressure. People got pills, but what is bubbling underneath that you haven't dealt with? it's all these little things, but you can't look at that bit here and that. You've got to bring each little piece of the puzzle together to see what's going on and how you can heal yourself and help others to do the same.
Correct.
Well, see, a lot of religion has got to the point they've had these fantastic teachers that have come along, and but then they've been manipulated and turned into an idol, and so everybody's now praised to an idol. They're not actually looking at the actual individual who is ideal and the ideal way of doing things. If you can do these things, I can do it. So can you. Yeah. So you've got to look at the overall ideal, not the actual idol. So
that's
you're talking bringing everything back to the bare bones of saying, okay, we're going to build a whole new structure here, and we're going to relay the whole body into a whole new format. Visualization has been very important. I mean,
visualization is so important, and Andrena, you touched on something that is so crucially important. Every word that leaves your mouth is creating your reality. So we can weave a life of misery or magic, starting with the words that leave our tongue. So if you constantly speak about being sick and that you're battling this disease, whatever it may be, you're affirming it to the universe, and you're affirming it to the cells in your body, and that's not conducive in any way, shape, or form. Even, I've been in and out of hospital half a dozen times or more now. Not one photo. I've said to my family and friends, no photos of me in hospital on the internet, like on social media. Nope, because I don't want that image out in the universe. There's people seeing me in a hospital bed, thinking of me being sick in hospital. I'll give them updates, but it's only a written thing. I'll have a photo of a bunch of flowers or something, but no one will ever see me in a hospital, no matter what, because that's not how we work.
Yeah. But going back to words, I mean, like people say, oh, I'm dying for a drink. That's just one example, and you could go on and on with your words. And, like when people say to kill two birds with and I think, no, you do two things at once. Why would you want to kill a little bird?
I know. And then you say things like, oh, I'm so sick of this.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick and tired, and we don't realize the words that we're using. But, I know, of the word spell and spelling.
Yeah.
Even a lot of people don't realize that. For our audience out there, we all know what the word spelling is and how to spell it. But spelling, we are casting a spell with our words. Every word that we speak is casting a spell on ourselves and on other people. That's what spelling is all about. It's ancient time, goes back into ancient history, and people think, oh, I never thought of it like that. But we cast a spell with the words that we speak, and that's why we call it spelling.
Well, can we go back to your peg that you've got in your stomach? So
yes.
Can you eat or drink anything through your mouth now?
Nothing.
Or is it still?
Nope.
Right. Okay.
Nope.
So how does it work then? And do you have to wear it all times throughout the day? Because I've got no idea. So
okay. Yep. I'll enlighten you, my dear.
Thank you.
That's all right. I have a drip set up beside my bed, and there's like a little food drip. Like a bag. It's a 1 liter bag of liquid food that comes from the hospital that hooks onto the drip. And there's a bag of water that goes with it to hydrate me as well. So I get hydrated and fed simultaneously from this. It's a 12-hour feed pretty much. So I don't have to go, whatever time I go to bed. If I go to bed at 8 o'clock, well, it'll feed me until 8 o'clock the next morning and so on.
Right. And do you get a choice of what your food is?
No, darling, unfortunately, I just get one bag. I have never in my life ever appreciated food and water so much in all my life as I have right now. Never, ever. It's like, what do we have today? Do you know what? I feel like a cow, because cows wake up in the morning and think, well, what do we have today? Let's have some grass. We'll have grass, so that's there's not much on the menu as far as cows or I'm concerned, or people with esophageal cancer. But having said that, that's the official thing that I take from the hospital, but I am supplementing myself through, I have a syringe that I can attach to my peg tube, and I can syringe in things like some bone broth that I make up. I make a beautiful chicken bone broth. Very sadly, I can't get to taste it though, because it goes in through my tummy, not through my mouth. So I do that. I also do, when I get all of the right veggies together. I do some veggie juicing, and yeah, so I do that, and also I have all my vitamins that I'm taking. I have a mortar and pestle, so I put them all into that, and I grind them up into the finest powder. Add a little bit of water, make it into a paste, and gradually add the water till I make it into a slurry, and then I make it into dirty water. And I have about 3 or 4 syringes of all my vitamins that go in through my peg tube.
Wow, it's quite a process then, isn't it?
It's a process, honey. It's a process, because I just can't put anything. The thing is, I can put things into my mouth and I can swallow, but they don't stay down because it's at the base of my esophagus. I've got no issues with my throat. It's the base of the esophagus. It's right where the entrance to the stomach is. That's where the issue is, and it's coming out of my esophageal wall.
So will you have to do this for the rest of your life? There's no...
Oh gosh, no. Nope. I'll only have to do it until we can reduce the tumor in my esophagus. So that's what I'm focusing on, is reducing the tumor through the products that I'm taking, through meditation and
visualization.
Visualization as much as I can, because the moment I can start getting that tumor to shrink, I can start eating all the right food and getting everything back in turn and work at rebuilding my life again.
So are you thanking Harold for shrinking and getting smaller and smaller?
Oh my lordy, let me tell you, I mean, it's a hell of a weight loss program, honey. I've got to tell you, since I've started, I've lost 38 kilos.
Wow.
So I think I was 104 kilos when I started, and I'm down to about, well, I've actually increased a few kilos now. I was hovering around 68, 69, but I think I'm up around 71 now. So gradually starting to increase it. Yeah. Yes. My perfect height weight ratio is 80 kilos. So I'm about 9 kilos underweight at the moment.
Oh, that's not too bad then. No, good on you.
Not too bad. And everyone's saying, gosh, you look so good, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, you see people and people have got different things going on, but you've got no idea what's going on, you know, behind that person's eyes, what they're going through or anything, you know. It's just but there was something I was going to ask you then. Yeah, so when you had the diagnosis and obviously straight away you can't eat, how did you, I mean, to be able to eat and drink and taste, you know, food and what have you.
It's the joy of life.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you integrate that? Because that, I mean, I can't imagine what that would be like, and listening to you. So how did you bring that into your being? Because that's quite a shock. It's not like...
It was a shock, but it was something I had to...
little step. It's like all of a sudden...
Well, within 3 to 4 weeks, I was eating less and less, drinking less and less, and I knew that I was in trouble. So, and again, excuse me, conferring with my sister, she said, "No, it's time for you to take action. You're losing way too much weight, David, and if you don't curtail this and get yourself sorted, you're going to be in dire straits." And I think she said the human body can only last 10 to 12 days without food or water, and your system starts to shut down. Excuse me.
I remember one of the Don Tolman talks, he did a fast for 40 days. Can you remember that, Jeff? He shared his story.
Yeah, but he still had liquid, didn't he? I mean, breatharians do it too. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
When they work with the sun. But hey, have you? I mean, everything has consciousness or conscience.
Yeah.
What's Harold got to say? Did he say you can't stomach something, or there's an?
Well, that's a good question, Jeff. Because the thing that astounded me, I'm glad you're going down this path, because I met with Dr. David Murray down in Launceston Hospital, and he's the cancer professor who gave me the full results and the full treatment plan for what I would undergo. And he said, this might come as a bit of a shock to you, David, but he said, I would estimate that your adenocarcinoma started growing about 12 to 13 years ago.
Really?
I couldn't believe it. I went, what? He said, yep. He said, that's been growing for a long, 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 long time. So the first thing I thought of, because of my metaphysical training and beliefs and understanding, The body's always a messenger for a metaphysical reason. Like, what's the spiritual reason behind this? Now, esophagus is about swallowing. So I immediately was taken to what could I not swallow 12 to 13 years ago. And it made total sense to me because that was around the time I had just come out of my divorce with my ex-wife, which was very amicable, thankfully. And for those of you that saw my previous show, you'll know the story that I came out as a gay guy and started a whole new life. But the difficulty I had 12 to 13 years ago was stomaching and swallowing who I was, because I had a difficult time coming to terms with that. Not that I didn't have any difficulty being gay, but I had a terrible time coming to reconciliate the fact that I had ended it was because of me that our marriage ended and family life ended, and I took a long time to get over that. So but over the last 12 13 years or more, I've done an awful lot of inner work and a lot of inner
I
work,
bet.
and I've done so much, and I believe I'm clear as a bell in that regard. But there was just something there that triggered that, and now it's sort of reared its head. So I've just got to look at this and deal with it from an energetic perspective, and not just pills and potions are all wonderful and good, but if things aren't lining up with you energetically, that's why we talk about the word disease, dis-ease, right? And then because the opposite to dis-ease is at ease. We've got dis-ease at ease, and a lot of people don't realize that. People think, I've got a disease. Have you broken the word up? There's a dis-ease vibration, so something's not at ease with you. So I've got to work out how I can bring myself to become at ease again.
And with the word as well, so many people say I got the C word, and it's like you keep affirming that you've got it.
I know, and people use and they say,
I hear it so many
my
times.
tumor.
It's like, well, it belongs to me. Well, hello. You're stuck with it if you don't change your language. And I know because like I said to you, I got the secret language of your body, and when I looked at it, I thought, well, what's the esophagus all about? And then like what you're saying about what you couldn't swallow, blah blah blah, and I thought, and then like when you say you go back the years, and then you think, okay, well, what was going on then? Where was I? And I couldn't swallow what was going on at the time. I couldn't you couldn't accept what was going on. You couldn't and then somewhere you've got it and it's stuck there, and then obviously it takes its time to come out.
That's right.
When that time's right, I mean, that book is my Bible. I use it all the time, and people say, what does it say in your book? Blah blah blah. Food for thought.
Food for thought.
You don't have to it's just giving you another thing to look at, to sort of investigate. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
People ask for the car parking fairies, ask for a car park, and it can manifest pretty quick. So, I mean, if that can happen, then asking Harold, hey, mate, hey, brother, hey,
that's it.
How do I love you? Point, you can move on and you can teach somewhere else.
Well, I've certainly been doing lots of that, and I speak to Jesus, and I sent him a friendship request on Ghostbook.
I love it.
And he replied, so he sits beside me now, so we're friends.
You got friends in high places, eh?
I have, yep. See, they've got Ghostbook up there. We've got Facebook. They've got Ghostbook. So I sent him a request on Ghostbook, and he replied, yes, Dave. Yep, I'll come with you. So he and I are working together. So that's a lot of fun. And on that note, humor is the big key in this for me.
It's fun with a capital F.
It's all about the humor, because the humor, what it does to your vibration, energy, listen, we all know what it's like when you're in fits of laughter. You cannot feel better when you are in losing it and your stomach's aching from laughter. It's the best feeling in the world. And that moment, along with love, the vibration of love, is the highest vibration a body can experience on planet Earth.
And it all starts with loving yourself first, which you're not taught. Schools don't teach you about meditation, about your breath, about who you are, being kind to yourself and others. And all of these things. The whole system just needs to like sweep the old out and bring in all the new.
That's right.
Well, actually, it really came about in sport. I mean, Dallas Cowboys, because it was close to Houston and all that stuff for the NASA missions, they used to get those big reels, and they used to go and film their particular players, and they didn't slow it up into a big slow motion. So instead of a kicker coming in on special teams and only take 3 seconds, they turned it into a 15-minute movie, and then they created those float tanks, the saline solution.
Yeah.
And you lay down in that salt solution, and your body's not touching anything, but you're looking up, and there'd be a screen there showing your whole muscle memory, if you want to call it as such, visualizing the fact that you can kick this and you're going to get it. Yep, they did that in the 60s. I mean, the guy De Silva, with his 2 girls there on the laundry floor, and he was talking to them, and listen to what was, yes, Dad, and they repeated it, and that's how he discovered the theta waves, and you can talk to the human body using theta. And then we go to East Germany, where they actually started the visualization process for their Olympic teams, and we see that with our swimmers. We have to go back to Lisa Curry, and we have to talk to Tracy Wickham and Ian Thorpe, where they did a lot of visualization. I mean, they're swimming there, going down that black line all the time, but they were just seeing themselves and getting past that barrier of times, So a bit like the guy who ran the first 4-minute mile, Roger Bannister. Once he did it, everybody else was able to break it. And on the weekend, we just had the marathon in London, where they actually 2 guys got under the 2-hour mark. So they broke that physical mental barrier. So there's a lot to be said for mind over matter.
So, mind over matter, 100%.
I always think about those fundamental churches in America where you get the big 10,000 people there, and the pastor stands up and they say, oh, Brendan, can we all send love and prayers because Brendan's got hemorrhoids? And I'm thinking, 10,000 people have just seen this poor bugger with a pain in the ass. So so you got to start looking at the immediate family and people around you, because those relationships, they also need to come on board and change their whole mindset.
That's right. Yep.
That's where I've seen the healing book, and I see it in various different facilities all around the world, and they should change the word from healing book to the love book. And so
that's right.
The pastor's at the front there, and he says, and today we've got the love book. We'd like to send love to that. And so everybody just sees you as a full person, not the actual focus.
Yeah, that's right. Don't focus on the issue.
Yeah. Anyway, no.
So can I ask, with you announcing what you're working with, your master teacher at the moment.
Yep.
Have you had that many people saying they've got similar or similar issues going on, or they're dealing with something like that along that route?
Just with cancer in general, Andrena, but I haven't encountered anyone that's got what I've got.
No,
not in my circle. But I mean, like you said, lots of people have cancer, and lots of people have shared their story with me that they have had cancer in the past and they got over it.
Yeah. And there is, for people that may be diagnosed, it's like when they do, like I would never have a mammogram. And when people have biopsies, I don't understand is when they cut you open, take a bit out, they cut you open, but the root's still in. And the root, still growing. I don't get that.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's forgot where I was going with this now. Yes, anyway. So what is there anything else? Because obviously we've talked about a wide subject. And obviously people are going to be asking what you do or where you go. I mean, there's a whole nother story, isn't it, of what you can do, where you start, and what you work through and what you're looking at, and not doing the conventional route or getting you off, like some of the side effects of the drugs are worse than what the patient's dealing with. That's what I don't understand.
100%. See, I can't come to terms with the fact that we've got to pour toxic poison into our body to get ourselves better. It just doesn't sit with me, you know.
Yeah, because I remember working in a mental health ward a long time ago now, and like when I first started there, I was just horrified of the side effects of the drugs that the patients were getting. And like I can remember one patient come up, she had terrible head and this was going on, and I said, well, get something. She said, it's a side effect of what I'm taking. I said, really? And so she was having terrible dry mouth problems. So then they were giving her, because of that effect of that drug, they were giving her another drug to counteract that drug with what was going on, you know. And I thought, no wonder these people are experiencing so many different things.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And it's very confusing for a lot of people too, Andrena, because the number one thing that people always encounter in a situation like mine, when you're diagnosed with Harold, they panic. They panic.
Yeah,
people
fear
panic.
comes in straight away.
Straight away.
Don't panic, Mr. Mannering.
What's that? Sorry?
Don't panic, Mr. Mannering.
Yeah, Mr. Mannering. My God, that's an old show. Jeez, that's really going back. Dad's Army.
Yeah.
Dad's Army. Don't panic. I certainly didn't panic when the day that the doctors said, David, I'm really sorry, but it is cancer that you've got. I said, okay. I said, well, where do we go from here? How do we deal with this? You know, I can understand why some people fall to pieces. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not trying to be a hero here. It's got nothing to do with me being a hero. You know what it's got to do with? This is the value of educating yourself. The most, I don't mean to point the finger here, but this is the most crucial thing in life. I often say to people, my friends, the most powerful weapon on this planet is knowledge. That's the most powerful weapon, is knowledge. So if you're beset, God forbid, with something that's happened to you in your life, don't panic, because there's a way out of this. You see, I look at it from this point of view. I didn't step off the curb and get hit by a bloody truck or a bus because I wouldn't get a second chance. You're gone. I'm out. That's it. This is different. When you're given a diagnosis of an illness of some sort, there's another way. You've got options. There's always options. Don't just take it, oh my God, I've got this. But that only comes from fear, but it also comes from lack of knowledge and understanding about what is out there that can really help you.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many different alternative organizations,
so many.
and people, you know, there's so many people now are looking at the alternative, breaking away from the NHS because of very different reasons. So there's so much out there, alternative that people can, and advice centers, and, you know, just talking to different people, you know, somebody will tell you, or you say, I've got this, oh, have you tried that, or have you tried that? You know, most people are offering you advice freely now to help you along the pathway.
That's right. And we're very blessed. I mean, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, because, you know, we've got the internet now, which is the information highway, but that can be detrimental as well, because there's just so much, and that's why it can really, you know, hold you back and confuse people even more. So you've got to be very, very astute in who and what you allow into your life, as far as information and knowledge is concerned, and do your research on who it is that someone's recommended a person. Do research on them, research the product that they're recommending. Don't just take it like, oh yeah, okay, well I'll whack some of that into me. Never heard of that, but I'll try that as well. You can't just take a full blanket approach. You'll just end up going crazy. But when you understand some of the basics, and if you're fortunate enough, like I am, to know some people in this line of work that are professionals and have had many, many years of experience, that's the thing that can really take off the pressure and the stress and the worry, and think, you know what, it's not the end for me. I've got lots of great work to do yet.
And it is a master teacher, and it's how you learn your lesson.
That's it. Yep, that's exactly right. So no, just another lesson to learn.
Hey, go back to Dr. Momoto's work with
with the water.
Yeah, and we're seeing the frequency and the pattern on the highest vibration, which was love.
Yep.
We've also seen Andrena had the tubes, the solfeggio tubes, where they had the different frequencies that would came out, eh? What were they? 536 or something? And
528,
yeah.
526, 3, 9, 7, and it goes on. So there's 111 in between each one, which a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, so there was the frequencies, but there's also the Amish people over there in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia area.
Yep.
I mean, they live a real holistic, grounded, earth-based lifestyle. But one of those things is still the act of prayer around the table. We're holding hands and saying.
Yep. Prayer is so powerful.
So I remember, what was his name? Jason McDonald did a workshop, and he actually got everybody around to do that, just to bless the food, and that was quite instrumental in the fact that I did a double take and thought, well, that's really interesting because energetically you've just gone and changed the food. And I noticed the same when I was over, checked out John of God over in Brasilia there, or just Abidjan, and there was a group of people who came and they were given the job of kitchen duty, and they had all the vegetables and they had it all outside in the sun, and the person who was running that particular kitchen came out because they're all come every week and they change groups. That particular lady got them to hold hands and they were to bless the actual vegetables. Once the vegetables were blessed, then they started peeling them all and then thank you very much. Then they put them in these huge big vats. And the lady then got them into the kitchen there and they did the same thing about doing the prayer for the actual kitchen itself and the ambience in the room and the food. And I remember coming up for lunch and thinking, oh, see, I think I'll go back for seconds before I even got my first bowl. But when I had the first bowl, I didn't need any more because the actual, what would you call it? It was voluptuous. It was full. It was just a whole new paradigm.
All the new energy, all the energy that had gone into it.
Yeah. So I was really more than satisfied with what I humbly took in, and it was a humbling experience. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know I've gone to retreats in the past, and we've all linked hands and done a blessing and done a tone-in before we've ate our food, which is important. So on that note, another thing you can do is your own inner tone-in, like the bumblebee. You just close your eyes and you're just doing the humming and sending it to where you need in your body. And that's so easy to do because it don't cost you anything. You just sit here going, but you can feel it going through your lips and outwards. If you keep doing it, it brings you into a very calming space.
I listen to the Om. The Om chant.
All these things make such a difference.
They do. They really do. Now, I go to bed at night with the headphones on and I listen to a whole raft of different things and it's just fantastic. So I do a lot of subliminal reprogramming work as well with Dr. Joe Dispenza and the likes of that. So a lot of the times I'll find something to listen to and I'll just go to sleep. They can last for 4 or 5 hours and have it turned down right low and it's going into my subconscious.
Powerful. And another thing is like doing your gratitude, like I've done, I don't know how long. Before I go to sleep, I go through the day, thank you for the sunshine, thank you for my food, thank you for my home, and all of these things that are around me. And then when I get in bed and I go, or when I wake up, thank you for a day. And it's like doing a positive thought before you go to sleep.
Right.
Because obviously like you said, if you're watching something nasty on the television and all of that, then that's going in. It's not the right energy to be going in when you're going to sleep.
No, not at all. Gosh, no. A lot of people, if they just knew that what the last thing you listen to or you watch before you go to bed, that's what plays into your subconscious. So you've got to be very mindful of how we're programming ourselves because just like a computer, we can change the program if we know how to do it.
Yeah, delete.
Get a different result. Delete. That's right. Delete. Delete Harold.
Yeah. Thank you, Harold.
Thank you, Harold. You are deleted. Press delete. That's right.
So
I know this is right out of the field there, but if Harold's a teacher, he's probably in the school of thought. So there must be a headmaster. So you always go to the headmaster and say, "Do you think that you could get Harold moved on to another school?"
Yes, yeah. Well, that must be Jesus.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of things. I was going to say, Jeff, maybe if you put up previous podcasts of David, so if anybody wanted to follow, the shows up until this one, put it in the link somewhere on your website or what have you. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you and seeing you again, and your sharing. And
thank you, sweetheart.
So much wisdom has been shared in the conversations that have gone out on the airwaves. But I saw a few messages come up. So is there anything that we need to go back on before we finish? Right, Katie. Oh, yeah. Right, we'll read Katie's out again. The message is more important than the messenger most times. Yeah, I'll say. Carol says, and school children who disagree with teachers get IEX spelled and out of the spell of the school. I think that's a blessing for some.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we won't go there. David says, we cast a spell with the words that we speak.
Yep.
Carol says, and also we always said the word funeral starts with the word fun, and the entire word is an anagram of real fun, and ours always were. That's true. We always brought colour and light and all sorts to our funerals. But anyway, and Denise says, thank you, David, for sharing your story, and thanks, Andrena and Jeff. A wonderful, positive listening. Love to all. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you, Dee.
Katie says, practice love hugs, heart on heart. Definitely.
Yep.
And Carol says, the 1939 Cancer Act forbids anyone from claiming there is a cure for cancer, that which survivors are in remission. I got my backup team outside.
I was just going to say, that's not your stomach, I hope.
No. And Katie says, Andrena, you just had 5 orbs cross your screen. I'll have to go back and find that then. Lynn's okay. Lynn McTaggart does circle work with intention and prayer. People were cured after 15 minutes of the circle repeating the intention. Yeah, and sometimes people have got a shorter lesson to learn for whatever reasons. They don't need to go on a long journey, because each soul is on a different journey at different stages of life. And, I might look at that person. All right, shush. You might have to, look at that person. I think,
that's funny.
Well, why are they putting themselves through that? But I don't know what that soul's journey is. So, I've learned.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And Dee says, each one of us, I am love, I am the light, I am the truth, I am. So there we go.
Yep. Beautiful.
And that was from Blossom. Yeah, Blossom Goodchild said that one. Right. Is there anything else you would like to share?
No, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, I think, for now. Maybe maybe we could revisit this at the other end.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Well, we wish you all the luck in the world with that. And
thank you, darling. Thank you.
And my chorus.
Yeah,
they're in harmony with what you're saying. So
that's
thank you. It's been an absolute delight.
Aren't they calling out for mum? Ma?
Yeah, they don't say ba, they say ma.
Ma. Yeah, ma.
Yeah, that's another story.
Is it?
What part of England are you in, sweetheart?
I'm down south. I'm near Bournemouth by Poole.
Oh, Bournemouth. Okay.
Yeah. So Poole, I'm closer to Poole, which is much nicer than Bournemouth, I think, anyway, before I start anybody off.
Nice. Well, when I heard the cows in the background, I thought, well, you're certainly not in London.
No, sheep, actually.
Right. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, it's been an absolute delight. So thank you so much for sharing
you
your
both
wisdom
so
and
much.
knowledge, and wish you all the luck in the world. And thank
Thank
you,
you,
Jeffrey.
darling. Thank you.
And
Thanks,
thank you to
Jeffro.
everybody who's listened today.
All right, very good. I got the butterfly in there today. I thought it was
They look
magic.
like your antennas.
I love it. That looks good.
Yeah, like
That looks good.
Yeah, the butterfly is landed. Yeah, okay. All right.
Wonderful.
Love your
All right,
work,
guys.
David. Yeah, thanks for
Thank you
sharing.
so much. Thank you both.
thank you, David.
And
Lovely to
look
see
forward to
you.
reconnecting. Sending you a big hug from across the miles, my darling.
Thank you very much, and I'll send one back to you.
Thank you, sweetheart. All right, and
All right.
we will talk
Bye.
to some more. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Just click that off.